Good morning. I didn't feel well this morning. I've been very dizzy and a bit vertigo-y, and I have a stiff neck for some reason. I don't know. I think it's stress. So I was unable to do breakfast and lunch, which was really, really devastating for me. I was literally laying up here upset because I enjoy doing those things. And I don't even know if I'll have the capacity to go to the food bank by myself with the kids and get what we need. I might have to wait until tomorrow. I mean, we don't really need anything dire right now. Maybe milk. Maybe creamer. But we have points. So I'll send Johnny with the points. That's what we usually do anyway. Points. Anyway. I have a whole day planned, so don't worry. I gotta get going, so I don't even think. Well, I can get dressed into like lounge clothes for today. I'm probably not gonna go out, so I'll find something to wear for lounging around the house. That's not my night dress. So yeah, I'll just find something to lounge around in. I see lots of things I could lounge around in. I'm gonna call my mom later and see how she's doing. I'm like so worried about her. I gotta try not to pick my fingers in my anxiety over my mother. That's gonna be hard, so I gotta find something else to do with my fingers and my hands. Probably gonna crochet. But for now, I gotta go downstairs, prepare the kitchen, then find some lounge around clothes, get dressed in my lounge around clothes, and then start my day. I have a lot to do, so I gotta get going. Later for now. So I had suggested in the past that women should pray over their husbands' pillows, pray over their husbands at night, pray before he leaves, pray while he's at work, pray when he's on his way home, and just pray for him all the time unceasingly. This is what I meant. I open up the Bible and I read Ephesians 5, and then I go to 1 Timothy 2 and 3, and then I go to Genesis 2. That is where I read the scriptures about what a man and a woman is in marriage, and I pray that over my husband. I pray a happy, loving marriage over me and my husband. I also thank the Lord for him, and I do a lot of thanking and praising for the life that he's given me and the ability that we have to be together and sustain our lives the way we have and just keep going in a godly manner. And so I just thank and praise throughout the whole thing after I'm done with the scriptures. And then I end it, as you guys will see, with in Jesus' name, and then I do the sign of the cross again because I'm Catholic. And yeah, I'll post the husband prayers on the side here so that you guys can do the husband prayers and screenshot or whatever you're going to do, okay? As you guys know, after I get dressed, I usually come downstairs and I literally run around the kitchen cleaning and then preparing for dinner. Like, I have to prepare for dinner early because I like to have everything ready so that when I get up to do dinner, it's already just waiting for me to start. That way it's much easier for me just to get the ingredients that I need other than the ones that won't perish while it's waiting. I don't have to start dinner tonight until 4:30 because my husband's going to be coming home late. So I already knew that. So I just got everything that I'm going to be putting into the bowl before the meat. I got that all ready. the ingredients for the spices, the onions, the garlic, and then the rest of this stuff has to thaw anyway, so I'm just waiting for that. While I was waiting for that to thaw and things and time to go by till 4:30, I tidied up my area in the living room where I usually sit and watch biblical womanhood stuff and do my studying and crochet and sew and all that other stuff. And this is how you honor your husband. You honor your husband by not being idle while he's at work. That's one thing that men really, really, really get irritated at, is that when they're at work and then they come home and nothing is done. You've been home all day and you're just sitting. They really, really don't like that. So this is a good way of honoring your husband.
Hello, I'm Jamil Musaiba, an international social etiquette consultant and author of etiquette books, Etiquette the Least You Need to Know, and Afternoon Tea Etiquette. If you would like to order my books, please make sure to email me at info@jamilmusaiba.com. I'll link it down in the description box as well. If you're a new viewer on my channel, welcome. Here I talk about etiquette, soft skills, self-development, all kind of interesting topics like that. If you are curious about all of that, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell button so you get notified every time I upload a new video. And if you're an old viewer, welcome back. I am delighted to see you here. Today's video is dedicated to how to become more elegant. This is the kind of a topic that's often requested from me, both here on YouTube as well as on my Instagram page. I get a lot of direct messages asking me on tips on how to look and feel more elegant. So here's the video to help you become more elegant. So before I get into this topic, I want to tell that personally for me, elegance is a lot more than just the looks. And it's rarely really about the looks. It's more about the aura of the person, the energy of the person, the overall demeanor, so to speak, the way they carry themselves into the world that make you feel like they look elegant or they give vibe of elegance. You can see a person who is elegant but might not necessarily be dressed in a typical, stereotypical elegant way. They might be wearing something edgy but still overall carrying themselves in a very elegant manner. I'll show you a picture from one of my recent outfits that I wore that wasn't typically elegant, but even if I wear that, no one thinks that I don't look elegant or I look less elegant. And you can see someone who is wearing something stereotypically elegant, a little black dress, high heels, maybe a hat, something that we'd consider elegant, but still they don't look so elegant. So to sum it up, elegance is more about how you act, how you carry yourself, and how you generally project an image to the outside world. So I'll tell you some of the tips that can help you create that image that you want. First things first, to look more elegant, you have to think elegantly. And what I mean by that is that the image you're trying to project to the world has to be in line with the thoughts in your head. So get rid of all kinds of negative thoughts that will be affecting your behavior throughout the day or will be creating certain emotions in you that to the world will not be translated as looking elegant. One of the emotions that I think, or one of the thoughts that I think is crucial that you need to get rid of, is feeling jealous or envious of someone, particularly women feeling envious or jealous and criticizing harshly other women. That does not help you, that doesn't make you look elegant, and that creates negative energy inside of you that then gets reflected on your face, gets reflected in your whole energy and aura. For me personally, jealousy and being envious of someone is the worst human emotion. I think it is destructive. There is no creative power in that emotion. So if you find yourself feeling somewhat jealous or envious of someone, of either their success, of the way they look, or something about them that you find that bugs you, instead of feeling that negative thought, try to translate it into a positive one. Instead, feel inspired, feel motivated by that person's success, looks, whatever it might be, and try to think how their example can help you improve your life. Because feeling jealous and envious will not destroy their life, but rather will destroy you from the inside, and thus that destruction will be reflected in your overall demeanor as well as your face. We all know that thoughts create emotions, emotions create actions, and actions create results. So if we follow this pattern, we have first to clear our thoughts, make them elegant, so then our emotions could be more elegant, so to speak, and then our actions would be, and the results of us, our image projected to the society will also be elegant. Now, from the point of how to think, this takes me to the second point, which is how to act. As we know, our thoughts dictate our actions. So when we feel jealous of someone, we might do something that will not make us look elegant, like write hateful comments, criticize someone really harshly, create dramas. All these behaviors are exact opposites of what an elegant behavior would look like. However, this doesn't mean that you have to be smiling all the time, being quiet all the time. Exact opposite. You have to learn to stand up for yourself, to draw boundaries with people that you want those boundaries with. It's interesting, I read this quote once that by loving ourselves, we show others how to love us. Or there was another quote that said, no one can put you down without your consent. So for elegant women, it's important to show that you love yourself, you have respect for your privacy, for your boundaries, and by respecting your own boundaries, you teach others how to keep them. Because at the end of the day, if you don't stand up for yourself first, no one will stand up for you. You have to learn to speak up when you need it and do it confidently. What I mean by that is that when you want to make a point that for some reason you didn't like, you have to say it confidently with a smile and end the sentence in a low-pitched tone. For example, if someone, for example, took your, let's bring an example of laptop, opened your laptop without your consent, you could say, I would like you not to touch my laptop without my consent. Full point, and let's add a smile. I would like you not to touch my laptop without my consent. That's it. Some women tend to end their sentence on a high-pitched note, which makes it seem like they're questioning their own statement. That makes it seem like they're not confident in that statement, saying something like, I would like you not to touch my laptop. That doesn't sound like you're making an affirmation. It sounds like you're questioning your own sentence. So if you want to stand up for yourself, do it confidently and end it in a low-pitched note. On this note, stay away from sarcasm and loud screaming. Learn to maintain your poiseness and calmness, especially when you're around people. The reason it makes us look elegant, it means that we can handle our emotions in public. You can feel as emotional as you need to be when you're around the people that are there to support you. But when you're in public, don't give in to those emotions that you feed in the people that are trying to get those emotions out of you. Oftentimes, when someone wants to make us angry, our anger is the energy they want to get from us, and they feed on that energy. If they make you angry and you don't respond with anger at that moment, it means that you're not feeding them with that energy that they are there to get. So their actions would be in vain, and your image would always be preserved. Along with learning how to maintain your emotions, also learn to give and accept compliments. Giving compliments is something a lot of women find easy to do. We are very generous with our remarks towards other women. You're beautiful, I love your hair, I love your makeup, whatever it might be. But somehow accepting compliments is a challenge a lot of women face. And I think it's important for elegant women to learn to accept compliments generously as they are giving them, without making excuses or putting down themselves in the process. So if someone says, I really like your skin, instead of saying, oh, it's new moisturizer that I bought, usually my skin doesn't look like that, you could just say, thank you so much, I really appreciate your compliment, or I really appreciate that, with a smile. If you have noticed, oftentimes when I get compliments on the YouTube channel as well as on my Instagram, I oftentimes just respond with thank you, I appreciate that, and I do respond to all the comments that I get. I do respond them on my own myself, so I read what you're writing. But it's important that you learn to accept it with gratitude without kind of find a reason to deflect it. Accept and give compliments generously. Now, I've touched upon how to have elegant thoughts as well as how to act elegantly. Now, let's get to the third part where we'll be talking about the overall look. And let's get into more practical tips here. So you know that 93% of the communication to the world happens non-verbally. That means without the actual words. The actual words that we say only equate to 7% of the total communication. The rest is done through our body, the visual cues, the body language cues that we give out to the world. So, given that, the first and the foremost important thing for elegant women is to always maintain a good posture. And by good posture, I mean straight posture, shoulders rolled backwards, torso out of the hips, making sure that you have relaxed arms, relax at your knees, and maintaining your head high, your chin parallel to the ground. I've done an entire video on that. Make sure to check it out. It's called Deportment. There are 2 parts. Take a look at that and learn how to have a good posture. The second is to have a signature scent. I personally love to keep my signature scent a secret because I think a scent of a woman is a very intimate matter and has to be kept a secret. There's some kind of a mystery around the scent of a woman, and that mysteriousness should be kept. A lot of people were writing that they think that's not true, that you have to disclose if someone asks you. I think it's a personal choice. If you want to make that choice, do it, but also to learn to draw boundaries that you want to establish. So if people are really nosy and try to get the name of your signature scent, if you don't want to answer, say it's just my personal scent and give a smile. And with that, you'll always learn to draw boundaries between what you want to share and what you don't want to share. The reason I think having a signature scent is important to creating an elegant demeanor or look is because you are going to always stand out from the rest of the crowd by the scent that you have. Especially if you've been using it for many years, even if you're not present, if someone smells that scent, they'll immediately associate it with you. Number 3 is have a neat and simple hair and makeup routine. The reason I urge you to do that is that first, that means that you're always going to find some time to get ready, and that means it's maintainable in the long run. So it's not something that you only do once a week. It's something that you can incorporate into your daily life because it's not taking that much time. With finding a hairstyle that is suiting your facial features, your overall personal style, your lifestyle in general, and that overall gives you a good look, a look that is recognizable. And with the makeup, choose the one that highlights your strong features, is really quick and easy to do. So even if you only have 5 minutes to get ready, you can always go for that makeup routine and get it done and be out of the world looking very neat and very prepared. When I'm doing a lot of training courses on personal image and branding, I tell all my clients that some makeup is better than no makeup. We're now in this world where it's very much applauded when someone is not wearing any makeup, which is good for your skin. Your skin is relaxing, it is breathing, so to speak, and you are presenting yourself as genuine, authentic with bearing your actual skin. However, when you are out of the world to do work, you're out of the world to meet people, it's advisable to put just a little bit of makeup. You don't have to have tons of it, just a little bit that highlights your strong features and makes your face look dressed. It's almost in the same way that if we think we want to be genuine and be real ourselves putting out the world, let's just walk out in our pajamas or our loungewear and just go outside the world like that. So your face is almost like your body. It is your body, it's part of your body, but it also needs a little bit of dressing, so to speak. A little bit of cream, some lip liner or maybe lip gloss, a little bit of mascara, and a little blush if you need one, and step out of the world looking dressed and prepared to conquer it. I personally have experimented a lot with my makeup. I have found the one that is very easy to do. I'll maybe one day do a video on my daily makeup, but if you see a lot of my videos, I pretty much have the same kind of makeup on everyday basis, just changing colors here and there. And I like that it's easy, it's sustainable, and it always creates this image that I'm recognized by. So it's almost a signature makeup, so to speak. So find your signature makeup and your hairstyle. Number 4, take very good care of your fingernails as well as your hands. No matter what kind of profession you're pursuing, be you a teacher, a doctor, an engineer, an economist, you might be doing a presentation, talking to clients, showing your students, your hands are always visible. If you're reaching out for a handshake, it's a feature in our body that is often gets looked at. And the way that we project or show our hands to people, the way they look, tells a lot about how we care for ourselves, what kind of self-care we're doing. So the better taken care of they are, the more the people recognize as someone who takes good care of themselves. So our hands are almost like our business cards in terms of our bodily features. So how to take good care of your hands? Make sure that you moisturize it throughout the day. So carry a hand cream with you in your bag at all times. And whenever you wash your hand, make sure to moisturize it while your hand is a little bit damp. If you can't do it or don't like doing it throughout the day because you don't like the sticky feeling on your hand, you can do it in the evening before going to bed. Apply really well, a very rich hand cream, put some gloves on, some cotton gloves on, and fall asleep like that so that your hands get moisturized throughout the night. With the nails, if you can afford getting manicure once a month or twice a month, make sure that you do that. You schedule that and put it into your calendar. If you can't do that, then buy all the necessary things that you need to get your manicure done at home by yourself. There are a lot of YouTube videos about how to get your nails done. All you have to do is just clean them and have them neat. There's no need for really fancy nail polish, some kind of glitter, or some kind of a design. Elegant nails are the ones that are clean, they are trimmed, free of cuticles, and might have a nail polish, might not. If you like someone who likes to get nail polish on, feel free to do that. But in case if one of your nails chip, make sure that you get rid of all the nail polish on your hands. It's better to have no nail polish, clean fingers, rather than a nail polish that's chipped. Number 5 is simplify your wardrobe and create a signature look. This is something that I recommend to all my clients, is to think of your personal style or think of an image that you want to project to the world. And then think of all the kind of outfits the person that you have in your mind would probably wear. What is it that you want to say to the world with your presence or with your choice of fashion and clothing? Then create a wardrobe for a weekly basis, for a monthly basis, that reflects that image that you want to create. I have done a video about actually creating your signature wardrobe, so if you haven't checked it out, make sure that you do. I share some tips there as well. I don't want to frame your mind into thinking that only a certain style can be elegant. Actually, different kinds of styles can be elegant as long as the rest of your look is elegant. It's about how you think, how you act, how you carry that look that makes you look elegant. But there are some clothing items that are often associated with elegance, and I'll make a video about that very soon as well. A final note that I want to share in terms of the wardrobe is that I think an elegant woman is the one that has a wear for each setting. So when you come home, make sure to change into your loungewear. When you are going into bed, make sure to change into pajamas. This is something that I've always been teaching my children as well. When they come home from school, I make them change into their housewear or loungewear, and then before they go to bed, I make them wear pajamas. This is something that you can teach your children from day one or early days on. This is something that can be incorporated into their daily life, but also not just by saying to do that, but also showing with your own example that you're the one that always changes outfits depending on a setting. Number 6, and a very crucial point, is take good care of your shoes. And take good care of them not only from the outside, but also from the inside. It goes without saying that the outside should be clean, because this is the final point of our look. When someone meets us for the very first time, they give us a really quick glance, starting from our eyes down to the bottom. And the last thing that they notice are our shoes. So our hands and our shoes, as well as our hair, so you can see like the outside of our body, tells a lot about how we care for ourselves. And if you want to project an image of an elegant, well taken care person, you have to take a good care of your shoes. Why I say that the inside is so important is that if you happen to come to someone's home as a guest, you overall look really elegant, they might ask you to take your shoes off. And when you take your shoes off, if the insides of your shoes are not clean, it can create a really mixed feeling in the person that meets you for the very first time. I have done a video on shoe etiquette where I show how I clean the insides of my shoes, so make sure to check it out. And if you have the possibility of getting a small shoe polish, make sure to have it with you. I always carry one little shoe polish with me in my bag. Number 7 is pay attention to how you eat and how you drink, even when you are alone. Always serve yourself in a really nice dish or a really nice cup. This is something that I personally think comes a lot out of self-respect. When you feel elegant, when you feel like you respect yourself, you'll always take out the good plates and the good cups to serve yourself. I am a huge fan of cups. I think I've shown a lot of them on my Instagram page. I always keep on buying new cups, but this is my new favorite. It's actually a collaboration with Miranda Kerr, and I find it very feminine and elegant. So buying these kinds of items and drinking from this cup already makes me feel elegant. Also, make sure that you have good table manners at home while dining, even when you are alone and no one is watching. It all comes down to self-respect. Make sure you don't stuff yourself with food, but rather dine, enjoy the food, and make sure you put good food inside, because whatever we put into our body gets reflected in our face, gets reflected in our outer image. So take good care of yourself. Point number 8 is practice tidying skills. You can read the books of Marie Kondo. I've read a lot of her books and I find them quite useful in helping me organize, but I also do have my own system of organization. I did pick some tips from her as well. It's important that your space is clean, that you are clean not only from the inside but also from the outside, from the space that you inhabit. Oftentimes it's the first thing that people notice if we work in an office sharing with other people. If they see that our cabinet or our desk is clean, that creates impression of us. And elegant women are the ones that do have this clean, tidy space around them. So the first thing that you need to tidy and always make sure that it looks clean is your bag that you wear every day with you to work or wherever you go. Usually for women, that's our business cards. The way we handle our bags, the way we carry our bags speaks volumes about us. It has happened to me when I was asked to look through someone's bag to get something, and the insides of the bag would tell me a lot about the person and how they would take care of themselves and the items around them. So for me, it's crucial to make sure that the insides of the bag are clean and it's not cluttered. I have this daily or nightly ritual before going to bed. I've designated a drawer in my closet for the insides of my bag. I make sure I move them all there. I clean the insides of my bag, and if I need to change the bag, I'll do it in the evening, style with whatever I'll be wearing the next day. Or if I'll be using the same bag, I discard it, clean it. I get rid of the things that I don't need, like parking tickets, cinema tickets, whatever it might be, and then I organize everything back into the bag. So it's a ritual that helps me calm down, helps me create clean spaces, including my bag. Elegant women are the ones that are good conversationalists and that have a general idea about everything. So in order to do that, you have to enhance your knowledge in everything. You can use all kinds of different resources. Watch movies, listen to songs, podcasts, watch videos, read books, read articles, whatever it is that will help you to keep up with the news and things that's going on in the world. As an elegant woman, it's important that you are able to handle and carry on the conversation with whoever you meet. And in order to be able to do that, you have to be well aware of everything, but that doesn't mean that you have to have deep knowledge in everything. So having an overall understanding of things going out in the world will help you to become a good conversationalist that ultimately will make you look elegant. And the final point for today is be aware of your voice as well as how you speak, because oftentimes the elegance is projected through our voice. We might call someone over the phone, and without even meeting us or ever seeing us in person, they might get the impression that we sound elegant, that we're a woman of elegance. The tone of the voice is very important. You have to vary the tone of your voice throughout your speech, so learn to emphasize things and learn to rush through things that might not be so important in your sentence. Varying the tone is important, but also making sure that you keep pauses when necessary. When there's a silence, when there's a pause, we crave for more. We want to hear more from the person. If you're someone who tends to get anxious and blabber, control it. Think or count in your head to 10. think of something that will make you stop, reflect, and then answer. Do not rush into answering someone's question, or do not rush into talking, regardless of how you feel that the person might think you're taking their time. Take your time to express yourself. Along with your speech, it's important to control your gestures. Make sure that you use your hands organically when you're talking. So incorporating gestures is important to make you look more elegant and feminine. However, overdoing the gestures might make you look like you're anxious or nervous and will not be translated into elegance. Knowing to moderately incorporate gestures into your speech is essential for looking elegant. I hope that you find these tips practical and useful in your journey to becoming more elegant today. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you liked it, make sure to give the thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
All right, let's do daily wisdom. Morning so far. You are a better wife. Are you a better wife or mother? Did you know that if you are a better wife, you will be a better mother? The best thing you can give your children is to love their daddy deeply. Oh Lord Jesus, give me the tongue I need. Are you a better wife or mother? Did you know that if you are a better wife, you will be a better mother? The best thing you can give your children is to love their daddy deeply until death do you part. This brings more security and contentment to children than almost anything else you can do for them. This world is an insecure and scary place, but if they have built in confidence by being raised in a godly, secure, and happy home, their lives out in the world will be more productive and satisfying. Love your children enough to love their daddy. Treat him with respect. Laugh at his silly jokes and learn to do what pleases him. You know, I love that. It goes with everything that I started doing this morning. As you guys know, I woke up and I was dizzy and I had some vertigo because I've been under some stress with my mother's health and worrying. I mean, it's not that long ago that my father passed. It's barely 3 weeks. And so I got really, really scared and stressed, really stressed yesterday, thinking that she was going to pass away on me. And so it caused my body to react in a way that I got dizzy and vertigo-y this morning, and I couldn't get up. I just couldn't do it. And I beat myself up about it because I love serving my husband. I love it, okay? One of the prayers I was praying over my husband's pillow was that I would fully understand what it means to prioritize him and his needs. I have left my father and my mother, and I have cleaved to my husband. We are one flesh. He is my priority, and I should be taking it seriously. I should be taking my role in the home as his wife and his helpmeet seriously, and I need to step it up a bit. I did once before. I don't know if you guys remember, 2023, I believe it was. Maybe 2024, I can't remember. I think it was 2023. Johnny had left his job. He wanted to pursue a career at Air Canada, as you guys remember. Well, those who have been following me for the last 4 or 5 years will know this. He was at his job for 6 years. Then he quit to start a new career. I supported him full-heartedly. I knew it wasn't the right thing, but I never ever I never voiced it. You know what I mean? I supported him and I let him do what he wanted to do. I knew he would figure it out on his own eventually. And he did. So he went through the training. The training was paying him, but it wasn't enough. And I never complained. Not once. I never complained. I never gave him any bad energy during that time because I knew that he was transitioning from one career to another, and I knew it was already stressful on him, so I didn't want to stress him out with my woman stuff, my nagging and, oh, I told you so. No, I didn't do any of that. I kept my mouth shut. I just did what he needed me to do. He had to pick up 2 other jobs. So he was working 2 full-time jobs, and he was going to Air Canada part-time, okay? Because that's how they start you after your training. They start you on part-time. And it's a random hour. So he had like the night shift, basically, from midnight to 4 a.m. Yeah, it was terrible. He'd come home, he'd sleep for 3 hours, get up, and go to his first full-time job. He would be done that job at like 2 p.m., go to his second full-time job until 5 or 6 p.m. Then he'd come home, nap for a very short time, get up at like 9 p.m., and then be out and then leave. Sometimes he wouldn't even come home. Sometimes he had to go from one place to another. So some days I had to pack him a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner. And that was like 3 days a week I had to do that. And I never complained. I did what he needed me to do. I'd wake up at 3 a.m. and I'd make him breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Have it ready for him to go at 4 a.m. in the morning. Yeah. True story. And he'd wake up so exhausted, take his meals and go. Come home exhausted. Just crash. And I'd let him. I wouldn't bug him. Nothing. I did everything during those few months. And it was like about 4 months. So it took about 4 months, and he realized it's not sustainable. So he quit one of the jobs because he was just killing himself. Basically, he was killing himself doing 3 different jobs. So he picked the one that was paying the highest, and he started doing that more, in between the Air Canada stuff. But he realized Air Canada wasn't doing it for him, so he was looking for a job that would give him full benefits and whatnot, and that he would be getting more money, Well, it took a long time. And then we finally found a job, but it wasn't anywhere down in the Lower Mainland. It was up here where we now live. Northern part of BC, right? So he took the job and we moved. We uplifted our whole life and moved here. And I didn't complain. I didn't. I did what he needed me to do. I sucked it up and I did what he needed me to do. I had no opinions. He knew that he messed up when he left the 6-year job. He knew. He knew that it was a complete mistake. I didn't have to tell him. He already knew. So I didn't say anything. He came to me and he said, I wish you had told me that it was a mistake. I said, I tried, but I didn't want to nag you. Because I did tell him, I said, it's not practical that you leave a 6-year job, Johnny. I said that when he asked my opinion. I said, my opinion is you've been here for 6 years. It's not practical to leave to start a new career, and we don't even know what our financial situation will be like. It's going to be a very huge struggle. And he said, yeah, but I really want to do this. I said, you do what you want. I'll support you. That's what I said. And then when he told me, he said, you should have warned me. I said, I did. But you wanted to do what you wanted to do. And I wasn't going to stand in your way. I supported you, and I still support you. And he said, okay. So he was actually really happy and in a better mindset so that he could do what he needed to do now for our family, right? And that's the way I've been with him since I've been learning biblical womanhood. And so that's how we should be treating our husbands. If they want to do something that we know might be a mistake, don't tell them, okay? Just don't. If they ask your opinion, you can say it gently the way I did. I don't think it's practical, But if they, insist, say, I'll support you. Do whatever you want. I'll support you. No matter what. I'm with you. That's the way I rolled. And that's the way I still roll. but I haven't been doing what I needed to be doing. Anyway, so, but since my father has died, I haven't been keeping up with what I need to be doing. You know what I mean? Like, I'll do it sporadically, but I'm not consistent. And I know that I have to grieve, and I know that that's a natural part of life, and that that's a natural part of your emotional development and body, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But for me, it's not practical. So I'm praying to overcome the grief, the stress, the anxiety, the pain. I'm praying to get rid of it. Our priority is our husbands. Prioritizing our husbands should be number one on our list every single day. When we wake up, we should be thinking, what do I need to do for my husband to make his day a little bit easier? That's what we should be doing. And I think like that every day. What can I do to make his life a little bit easier? Okay, so today I didn't get up right away and I didn't make him a lunch or a breakfast. So instead of that, I'll make dinner, and I'll make a delicious dinner. I'll clean the kitchen. I'll make sure it's nice and tidy and it looks nice. I'll tidy the dining room area for him so that he can sit at the couch and eat tonight if he wants to. And then I'm just rushing around doing those kinds of things today. That's what I'm going to do to make his life easier, so that when he comes home, he doesn't have to worry about what should I make for dinner. I'm going to have dinner ready. And I'm going to have his lunch ready for tomorrow, because some of the dinner probably won't be able to be fully made with... Okay, I'm going to tell you. I'm making hamburgers. So you guys will watch me later. I'll do a video of it, the recipe, and then I'll post it separate like I usually do for the recipes. So I'm going to be making hamburgers. Now, with the hamburgers, I have two different kinds of meat. I have turkey and I have ground turkey, ground chicken. Okay, so two different ones. I'm going to be putting them into a bowl, and I'm going to be chopping up some onion and garlic, and I'm going to be putting egg in there and some other things, spices, to make it more delicious. And I'm going to be squishing it with my hands together, so I have to take my ring off. And then I'm going to make them into patties and put them onto parchment paper. And then one by one, I'm going to lift them into the frying pan, and I'll fry them, put cheese on them. They'll be cheeseburgers. And then it'll be ready for him when he gets home. All of it. Now, on a side note, there will be leftovers because I'm only making 2 hamburgers each. So that should be enough with some chips, because it'll be very filling. 2 hamburgers and some chips. That's what they're getting, everybody. Then whatever's left, I'm going to fry up in the frying pan as like ground meat. And then I have a vegetable noodle concoction that I'm going to add in with some butter and maybe a little bit of milk, maybe. And then just bring it to like a boil and make it nice and like saucy. And then put it into one of his lunch containers into the fridge. That'll be his lunch for tomorrow. Now, on the other hand, if there's even more meat than I expected from the patties that won't be made, I also wanted to try to make him his sausage rolls that he's been requesting. So I'm going to basically make a meat tube with some of the meat. And then I'm going to fry it completely, make sure it's all nice and cooked all the way through. And then I'm going to put it inside of the pie crust. And I'm going to roll it, pinch it on the edges on each side, egg wash it, put it in the oven for 11 minutes. and then it'll be a sausage roll. Yeah, so he can take that for lunch too if he wants, both of them. Or he can have it for a snack later tonight. Either way, I'm going to try to do this for him because I really want to do something for him. I feel really, really bad that I did not get up today. So I'm going to try to do that for him. And with the other pie crust, what I'm planning on doing is making cinnamon rolls. Yeah. Homemade cinnamon rolls with pie crust. And don't worry, I will put all the recipes up, and they'll be separated, of course. And also, anyway, I got to get going on cleaning the kitchen and doing lunch for the kids, and then doing my personal studying time. So I'll get these videos up, and then I'll do that. Okay? And then, so we'll just do that. So I have to pack my bag. I pack my bag like I'm going to work because basically I'm going downstairs and that's my work area. So it's basically I am going to work. Like I'm moving out of my room downstairs, y'all. Okay? And I have lots of tidying to do today. I just want to tidy. So you guys will see all of my tidy videos. Clippy clips. And tomorrow, I'm going to force myself to go to the food bank. Because today I just did not feel like it. All right, let's get on with today. Hey y'all, I'm getting ready to start dinner pretty soon. In about half hour, I'm going to start. So I put this head wrap on just for now so that my hair is back and away from the sink because I'm going to be working around the sink area with the meat, as you guys know. So right now I'm just going to watch some videos on YouTube. Currently I'm watching Casey Nicole. I've been really interested in her videos. She puts a lot of work into really honoring God. So I really, really like her videos. And then I also do other things, like I watch how to be more elegant, how to have proper posture, how to how to behave properly, like not burping loud, not yawning with your mouth wide open, you cover your mouth. Things of this nature I'm learning more and more. And it's mostly because I want to please my husband, because he used to be very embarrassed by me in public spaces because I just burp and I just like yawn with my mouth. I wouldn't even like cover it. And so he was so embarrassed by me so many times because I'm loud. And so I have really come a long way, y'all. Long way. So yeah, that's basically what I'm doing right now. I'm just learning and relaxing before I have a big cooking job to do. So I'm excited though. I'm very excited to be doing this cooking. So I will be back in a bit. I wanted to also mention that she wasn't dressed very modestly in the video I showed you of the elegance, but her tips for how to feel more elegant and to behave more elegantly with your posture and whatnot, she's on point with those things. So like I said many times, when you're watching someone, you have to have discernment. So maybe not dress like she was dressed. Your dress line should be down below your knees, and it should be up over, like close to your collarbone. You don't want to be showing any of the cleavage area, and your sleeves should come down to about the elbow. It's just proper modesty, you know? So use discernment when you're watching YouTube videos about anything that you're trying to learn online. I always line it up with scripture. Did she dress properly? No, that's okay. What is she saying? Is what she's saying actually something that a biblical woman should be listening to? Yes, some of the stuff that she's saying is. I even like her take on makeup routine. Quick and easy, simple, nothing that takes too long, because a lot of these tutorials you watch on YouTube for like makeup tutorials, literally it looks like it's like 2 minutes because of the way they chop up the video into 2 minutes, but I'm telling you right now it's about 2 hours and a half that it takes that woman to put her face on. Don't ever do those videos, okay? You don't need all that stuff. You just need natural glow. That's it. So I use I wash my face, then I use a moisturizer. I wait till it dries, and then I use, sorry y'all, my mommy called, and so I really had to take the call. She says she feels better today, but she sounds worse, her voice. But she says overall she's feeling better, but she's really tired. And I told her, let your body rest. Just let it do what it needs to do. If it needs to sleep, sleep. You know? So she said, yeah, I'm going to go. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, I'll call you tomorrow. And I said, and Kaylee will get in touch with me when the doctors get in touch with her. And she said, I told the doctors to tell Kaylee everything. And I said, good, thank you, because I really need to know what's going on. And she said, okay. So at least we're all communicating, and that's the best thing. Thank you, Jesus, for that, because I don't know what I would do. I think I'd go insane not knowing what's going on. So that's what happened with my dad. I didn't know what was going on, and it was like driving me nuts. Well, you guys remember. I was like hysterical sometimes because I didn't know what was going on. So I'm glad that we're all communicating now. That's really, really good. And my mommy's not alone. I'm glad. That's one of the best things that was really, really like hurting me, is that I was scared that she was all by herself with no one. So I'm really, really thankful that my sister is going to be there for her. She needs someone. So good. Now, what was I talking about before? We were talking about the video, and I was saying something about discernment. You have to have discernment. Is what she talking about biblical for biblical women? Some of it is, yes. Actually, all of it was. But I really like her take on the makeup routine. I think I said that already. You should have something quick and easy. Like, you don't really need to have like pounds of makeup on. Like, you really don't. What I do is I use baby wipes. I wash my face with a baby wipe because it literally exfoliates. It exfoliates, okay? Gets all the dirt and grime off your face. I literally just use a baby wipe twice a day, morning and at night, before I go to bed. And that's how my face has looked so clear. And I've been using a moisturizer to keep my, my psoriasis as controlled as I can. It does have flare-ups on my eyebrows most days, but that's just my eyebrows. So I just kind of like, I'll just use the what you gonna call it, concealer. Dear Lord, I couldn't even remember the name. Concealer. I'll put concealer, and I'll just go. So I just put concealer, and then I just rub it in. I don't put it on the hair part, like the hairy hairs, because then you'll see that it's like clumpy. I don't do that. I just put it on the part that's red, and I'll just rub it in like this. And same thing with like under my eyes, just to give it a little less like brown color, because without this filter it's brown under my eye, because I have trouble sleeping still. Even though I'm on Prozac and I get lots of sleep, I still have trouble sleeping with all the stress that's been going on the last 3 weeks. Actually, it's been like 2 months. My dad was sick, right? So it's probably like 2 months that I've been having like stress. But yeah, so I put concealer under my eye and on my eyelid. Then I let it, dry. And then I put the eyeshadow on, and it's just like the really light pink, because I don't like dark colors anymore. I don't usually do the dark colors anymore. I do light pink. And then I'll put like a light orange color, pinkish orange, under the eye, just to give it a little highlight. And then I'll use mascara very little bit, just to touch up the eyelashes, just to make them look a little more bold. And then I just use chapstick for my lips. Done. I don't even use Cover Up right now, even though I did buy Cover Up in case I do need to use it. So far, I've only been using the concealer. So one of the things I really need to do, though, is get the primer putty so that I can get rid of the really, really big pores on my cheek here, because they're quite big. So you get the putty, you put a little bit sparingly, like this, gets rid of the pores, and I have natural blush, so I don't really have to use even blush. Girls just don't need that much. It's just to amplify the beauty you already have. You don't need to have like excessive, So I like that she said that it should take only 5 minutes to do your makeup. It takes me 5 minutes to do my makeup. Literally, done. All right, now I gotta go prepare for dinner, because I'm gonna start dinner soon. So I'll be back. You'll see time lapse when I'm done, and or a video describing what I'm doing, because, well, yeah, I'm gonna be doing recipe videos. All right, so I'm gonna go. I'll see you guys in a bit, and I hope you enjoyed these videos. Later for now. All right, so I did hamburgers, as you guys know. So this is what I did. I used 2 different kinds of meat. I used ground turkey and ground chicken. First thing I did was chop up the onions and the garlic and put them into a separate bowl. I already had put the spices that I was going to use into a bowl. Then all I had to do was break the eggs into another bowl to make it stick together. You know what I mean? But when I put the eggs in, I realized that it was quite wet. So that's why I added the breadcrumbs, just so that it would dry up some of the egg wetness. And it worked. And then it stuck together better, and I was able to make actual patties. And so I put the patties onto the parchment paper while I heated up the pan with some oil, which you'll see in a little bit. But first, so I used 2 different onions. I used a medium size and a small. Because of how much meat I was using, I needed to have a little bit more onion so that it would spread nicely around, And then I used 6 cloves of garlic, and I minced it up. In the little bowl on the side there with the spices, I want to tell you, but it's my secret ingredient that I don't want my husband to know. So if you want to know, you're going to have to ask me, and I'll give it to you in a private message, because I don't want him to know how I made it taste so dang good, because he said it was dang good. So, he said it was like the best burger, so, for a turkey/chicken burger. So, yay. Which I already knew, because I make everything delicious, even though I can't taste it myself. I know it's delicious because of the way it smells. But yeah, so here's the onion, and then I do the garlic next. So let's do up the garlic now. And then as soon as I'm done the garlic, because the garlic didn't take too long at all, I then start mixing everything into the bowl. I had to have Lucas help me, because I couldn't dump the stuff in myself, because my hands were all, gicky from all the ground chicken and ground turkey. So I had to have help. And he loved helping. He's like, I love dumping things into the bowl for you. I'm like, aw, thank you, buddy. It's a real great help, because now I can make dinner. And yeah, it was just overall, I really enjoyed cooking. I really, really did. Like, I love cooking. I don't know how else to say it. I just love cooking. I enjoy putting good ingredients into my cooking recipes, and I love making my family drool. I just love it. It's something that I just really like to do. And I know that's strange for someone who can't eat solids, but I really, really, really do enjoy watching my family just enjoy the foods I make. So here's the eggs. I'm going to put them into a bowl, a separate bowl. First, I got to get the ground chicken. That's the ground chicken. Get it all out. Good. Ground turkey. And then I just mush it all together. And I take out the frozen parts because, well, they were frozen. And I thought, oh, well, I could just use the excess, the frozen parts for Johnny's lunch later. So I was like, that's okay. I can do that. So then I decided take all the meat off my fingers and then wash my hands, grab a separate bowl, put the frozen pieces into the separate bowl, break the eggs into another bowl, and take the plastic off of the spices that I needed, and then get Lucas to help me by dumping everything in. So, yeah. Here's the spices. I get another bowl. I'm going to crack the eggs into here. I did only 3. I was going to save the last one for Johnny's lunch. This so fake. He was trying to get out. And then, as soon as all the frozen pieces are out, I mince it all together with my fingers, and I ask Lucas to come over, dump that in for me. Good, thank you. And then the spices. Yep, thank you. I said, just give me a moment while I make sure it's nicely mixed. Okay, eggs, thank you. And the eggs are in, and then I mix the eggs in. And he was really happy to help me. He's like, oh, it was so much fun. I'm like, I know, it was so much fun. And I just rolled it around for a few minutes. I was like, it's too wet. I got to add some breadcrumbs. Yep, I knew that it was going to be too wet as soon as I put the eggs in. So I was like, I got to do something about that. So here's the breadcrumbs, and then and then I say mix it. So I mixed it already off camera while I was downloading the video. So I mixed it again, really, really good. Put it in my hands. 1 patty. I made 6 patties, 2 hamburgers each. And it was the perfect amount, just the perfect amount. My hands are small, so it was perfect. And there was a little bit left so that I could use it for Johnny's lunch. I wanted him to have I wanted to mix it in with the other meat so that the onion, garlic, and the spices that I chose were going to be in his lunch as well as a little added taste flavor, Then I pulled out the plates. Then I got the frying pan. I put the oil on. I let it heat up. And then I started putting the patties in. I put 2 in at once. And then I let it fry. How I did it was 3 minutes each side, and then 3 minutes again each side, and then 1 minute before I take it off, I put the cheese on. So that's how I did it today. And it turned out perfect. It was fully cooked all the way through. I was very surprised because I've never cooked hamburgers before. This is the first time me ever cooking hamburgers. And it's like turkey chicken hamburgers too, so it's even more vital that I cook it all the way through, you know what I mean? So I was very scared. I was like, I hope I got it right. I hope I did it good. So the first ones I chopped in half so that I would know if it was fully cooked, and it was. So I was like, okay, so 6 minutes each side is perfect. I did 3 minutes each side, then 3 minutes each side again. That's how I did it, and it was perfect. And my husband, he just really, really enjoyed it. I have the video of his reaction, which I will post after this video. Well, after I'm done the whole recipe video, because I have the recipe for the lunch that I'm about to make too. So here goes Johnny's lunch. So I put the meat in, the rest of the meat. And this is the wok. And I just heated it up with some butter. Let it spoon around in there until it was fully cooked. I wanted to make sure that everything was brown first. And then I added in the veggie noodle concoction from the freezer, as you'll see in a moment. And I do these because I used to do them for his meal preps, as you guys remember. However, he doesn't do meal preps anymore, which is fine. So I just have them in the freezer for whenevers. So after I put 2 tablespoons of butter in there, and I put the rest of the meat in there, and I minced it around for a bit, I put the veggie noodle concoction in there. And then I added in 2 tablespoons, well, maybe 3 tablespoons of barbecue sauce, and I mixed it together. Then I turned it on low so that it would slowly steam the vegetables with the lid on. And that's his lunch. His lunch is now made. And I was really, really happy with getting it done. He really, really enjoyed his dinner. He ate it really fast. It was gone before I even knew it. He was done his dinner before I was even done his lunch. It was insane. But yeah, he really, really liked his dinner. So, and I have the reaction video coming. Don't worry, it's coming right now. Okay, take a bite. One bite. What do you think?
I know it's a full moon.
It's a full moon that's heating.
It's perfect.
I know.
Let's go get a bite.
I put a concoction in there of spices to make it delicious.
What?
Well, y'all, dinner's done. The boys could only eat 1 burger each. They put the other one away for later, for when they want a snack. That's cool. That's cool. We're going to get into the new chapter very shortly. I just got to set up for it, okay? I just wanted to tell y'all it was a big success, and everybody loved my turkey chicken burgers. They were so good. I'm going to do it again. Maybe if I use the same spices in like beef pork burgers, maybe it will taste even better. Ooh. All right, y'all, let's do this. To love their children, Titus 2:4-5, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children. Let the children lead them. The most important thing a mother will do for her children is to create an atmosphere of peace and joy by deeply loving their daddy and being satisfied with life. Several years ago, my husband did a family life seminar for homeschooling families at a large, very conservative church. The people were given age-appropriate questionnaires. Before we got there, each homeschooled child From every child who could write up to single adults still living at home was asked 2 questions. Is your home happy? And what one thing would you like to see changed in your home that would make you a happier person? That seems pretty straightforward. I like that. That's kind of cute. We were not expecting profound answers. We thought the children would say that they wanted name brand clothes or more freedom or maybe more access to video games. We hoped we would get a few serious answers, like some kids saying they wanted to spend more time with their parents or they wanted to be trusted. Their responses shocked and saddened us. Out of about 75 responses, only 2 or 3 kids considered their home happy. Nearly all 75 answers of the second question were basically the same. 10-year-olds who could barely spell to single college-age adults had the same hopes and anguishes. They all said something to the effect of, I wish Mama and Daddy would love each other. The younger kids wrote answers like these. Our home would be happier if Mama and Daddy would not fight. I would make my Mama and Daddy like each other. We would have a happy home if Mama would not talk bad about Daddy. And I wish Mama would not talk back and make Daddy get mad and yell. The older ones wrote along these lines. Our house would be a more peaceful place if Mom did not walk around with this frozen bitterness. I feel like we live in a... The older ones wrote along these lines. Our house would be a more peaceful place if Mom did not walk around with this frozen bitterness. I feel like we live in a war zone. How do you love your children? Let these 75 homeschool kids lead you to this important truth. Love their daddy. Honor their daddy. Obey their daddy. Forgive their daddy. I don't want to be like Mama. Dear Pearls, I would like to share my story with you. It is simple, but probably common, and it needs telling. When I was a child, I was always aware that my mom was distrustful of my dad. If one of us children did a bad thing, she was quick to deal with us, so Daddy will not whip you too hard. If Dad was going out to buy something, she would worry out loud that he will be foolish in how he spends the money. When he got laid off, I remember her saying over and over, I guess I need to learn a trade. Someone in this house has to work. I cannot fault her in any area of motherhood. She kept us fed, clothed, and warm. But when I think of my mother, I think of a worried, fretful woman who was always ticked off at Dad. Our home was tense. I have only a few memories of her smiling. I cannot remember a time when she sat in Dad's lap or danced around the room in playful fun. He was not a mean man. I remember hard whippings, but not any harder than the neighbor kids got. I remember him being interested in me. He taught me how to do simple, fun things, but because of her, I always avoided him. All of us kids are grown now. My brother did great in life. His marriage has been good, and his children seem well adjusted. When he was growing up, he was gone to work with Dad all the time. Us girls never went with Dad, and so we were at home listening to Mom talk about how hard our life was. All of us girls had terrible youths, and we have all had bad marriage troubles. Our kids have not done well. We don't talk about it much, but we know Mom played a big part in our misery. She still lays all the blame on Dad, although we all know he was just an average guy. I always knew I did not want to be that kind of wife and mama. I wanted my children to remember me as loving their dad and enjoying life. I did not care if we lived in the back of an old van and ate junk food. I wanted my children free of tension and the feeling that their dad was a dummy who had to be tolerated. Where am I? My first marriage ended after a few short months. I determined when I married again that I would do it right. When I got married this second time, I lost my way and didn't even know it. When I realized that we would have to move because my husband's company was downsizing and he was out of work, I packed in bitterness, while silently accusing him of not being a good provider and forcing me out of my lovely home. Then one day I looked up at him and saw the same lost look on his face that I had seen on my dad's face 1,000 times when Mom was taking care of the family. I was just like my mom. Something inside of me broke, and I hated the wonderful person that I was. It was then I remembered my promise to myself to never be like my condemning mother. I had bought the Joy of Training DVDs and marriage tapes months before our move, but had not watched them. I knew the time had come. I settled down in the living room among the boxes, and before long the whole family had joined me. We laughed and laughed at the big old mountain man, telling the funny stories. We sent the kids to their rooms and finished up the Wives Honor Your Husband tape. My laughter turned to weeping, and my kind husband held me in his arms while I begged for forgiveness. I cannot tell you how changed our family is. My husband is thinking of starting a business. He has wanted to for years, but my fear of failure has held him back. No more. If we end up living in a van, that's okay. I am sad for lost ground with my children, more than anything for my daughters. I want to break this ugly chain of bitter, critical womanhood. I have asked their forgiveness and found they were glad to be over the tension. They know that from now on, they are going to have a mama who thinks Dad is great, even when he is not what I think he should be. He really is a great guy. Even when he is not what I think he should be. He really is a great guy. I am so ashamed when I think of all the earthly hell I have put him through. Our children are going to grow up secure in love, not insecure in a spotless house, insurance paid, and name brand clothes. Life has never been so good. Better late than never. From all of us, a great big thanks, Sheila. Sheila is obeying the words of God. She is loving her children by loving their dad. The next letter is typical of so many women who seek to love self more than loving their husband and children. Seeking something higher than God. Dear Mr. Pearl, I am a busy mother whose children go to a Christian school. I am realizing that without another close female in my life who could share house duties, it is harder on me than it should be. I meet with 2 prayer groups each week and have them pray for me and my family by name. My biggest need is for help physically in caring for the housework and someone to sit in quiet worship with me. I need at least 4 hours per week of meditation time, self-actualization time. It is 4 a.m. now, and I'm up writing my friends to ask for prayer and see if they know of any gals with 5 children of their own who might be as stressed. might be as stressed as I am. I am frustrated because of my culture and my isolation from regular and close fellowship with wise women. I have a heart desire to change my current lifestyle and to live a rich, full, and meaningful life. And I am motivated so because I want the best for God. I trust you will send me some good advice. Love in Him, TP. Dear Sister TP, your divine calling is to serve your family. True worship of God is not dependent upon other people or social circumstances, nor does it require a time of meditation. The Spirit of God is present when you wash the dishes or pick up the dirty clothes, and He is there while you. Dear Sister TP, your divine calling is to serve your family. True worship of God is not dependent upon other people or special circumstances, nor does it require a time of meditation. The Spirit of God is present when you wash the dishes or pick up the dirty clothes, and He is there while you prepare meals for your family in the evening. God never intended for you to have intimacy with another woman, whether in worship or otherwise. Stimulating your own inner feelings in the name of worship is selfish, mockery, approaching idolatry. Your seeking of self-actualization in the name of spirituality is a mixture of foolish psychology and emotional insecurity. You are part of a trend sweeping through church women's circles, a pursuit of intimacy and deep feelings apart from your husband. This inner self-stimulation is what my husband calls spiritual masturbation. It has nothing to do with the God of the Bible. It is spiritually more akin to Eastern mystic meditation. When your spirituality competes with your service to others, especially your husband and family, it is just that, your spirituality. Jesus said to Peter, "Do you love me? Then feed my sheep." God does not call women to be mountaintop gurus or to seek one out for their personal benefit. He commands them to be keepers at home, to obey their husbands, to render due benevolence, give him good sex, and reverence him. Remember that the sin of Eve was to seek deeper knowledge and to be like the gods. Independent of her husband, she sought to go deeper. Her ambition was personal, spiritual fulfillment, which is the most selfish drive that can possess a person, and the easiest to justify humanly speaking. It is the foundation of all sin and rebellion. Learn to read the scriptures just a few minutes here and there throughout the day, and meditate on what you read as you work. Sing unto the Lord. Don't allow the lonely women's club mentality to sweep you away from your role as a wife and mother. Your time at church and prayer meeting is sufficient enough time with other women. Focus your life on your home, husband, and children. There is a grave danger in becoming emotionally dependent on other women. Too many times I have seen this lead to something abnormal and sick. Your husband and God should be the ones to whom you turn for emotional support and intimacy. Women who seek higher spirituality end up feeling and acting spiritually superior to their husbands and others in the church, and it is a death knell to a healthy marriage relationship. Spend that desired spiritual time with your husband, where real growth and maturity with God will be found. Seek to serve your family by tying your little one's shoestrings, reading a book to your toddler, telling a simple Bible story to the whole gang, and making sweet love with your husband. These are the things God counts as important in knowing and loving Him. Debbie. A wise woman never expects anyone to serve her and is therefore never disappointed. She is ready to help, always the giver. By her example, her children learn to cheerfully and energetically serve. raising cows or kids. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 22:6. God has honored mothers with the blessed privilege of being the daily trainer of their young children. He did not place this responsibility in grandma's hands or with good friends, teachers, or babysitters. All of us mothers will stand before God one day and give an account of how we trained our children. To love our children is to devote ourselves fully to their training. If we fail here, we fail as a helpmeet. Husbands go away to work and leave their young children in our care. They trust us to train them up to be all that they can be. If we fail our children, we fail our husband, and we fail God. Some of the new commercial translations say, discipline up a child in the way he should go. We will not put that text in bold because it does not deserve status as scripture. Only someone who knows little about God and the Hebrew language, and even less about children, would translate what God said in such a way. God said train up, not discipline up. The Hebrew word translated train up appears only 4 other times, and each time it is translated dedicate. Parents train up their children by dedicating themselves, their time, and their children to that which God desires for them to become. Each time it is translated dedicate, parents train up their children by dedicating themselves, their time, and their children to that which God desires for them to become as an adult. That is not discipline. It is a commission from God to train them as a full-time occupation. Training up a child means showing them how to make corn tortillas, pedal a tricycle, make up a bed, put toys away, cook for 40 people in 1 hour, read, demonstrate respect for others, and 1,000 other wonderful things. For a mother who loves her children, training is not a chore. It is a full-time, all-consuming passion. They are worth every minute of time and trouble to every dedicated mother. Little Esther. Little Esther is only 5 years old. She is quite confident and competent in setting the table or folding the clothes. She knows the difference between the applications of cabbage and lettuce, because when she helps make salads and slaw, her mother discusses the whys and the wherefores of all that they are doing. When she is asked to wash the broccoli and cauliflower, she knows both. She knows both and how and why. Esther helps fold the clothes and put them away. She knows all her colors because from the earliest age she has helped separate dirty clothes into different color piles. When Esther takes a book off the shelf, she chooses carefully because she wants books that have words she can read. She can read many words, not because she has been officially schooled, but because her mother has always taken time to read to her, occasionally stopping to point out words and how to say them. All this has been fun. When Esther starts school, she will already know how to read many words. Therefore, learning will not be a tense, fearful exercise, but only a continuation of her first 5 years of informal learning. Her mother spends all day stimulating her developing mind with intriguing ideas. Esther's mom has 10 children, yet she is not too busy for Esther or her younger brother. Many little children are not so blessed as Esther. Some mothers treat their children as a treat, as I treat my cows. I make sure they have good things to eat, clean water, and a place to exercise. If they show any signs of sickness, I attend to them immediately. This If they show any signs of sickness, I attend to them immediately. This is good for cows, but if you raise kids like that, you're going to have a brood of little dummies. Unlike your care of the cows, the training of your children is the deepest expression of your love for them. Mama, why am I so dumb? I have been around some real dumb kids. I asked them, did you see the eclipse last night? Stare. I heard your daddy is designing a new program for the flight school. Stare. Did your mom put whole wheat flour in these cookies? Stare. Mama answers. She doesn't cook yet, and he doesn't know his daddy works at the flight center. My husband and I enjoyed the eclipse, but it was too cold for the children to come out. Besides, they were watching a video. We visited a different family whose father also works at the flight center and spoke to a child who is 2, almost 3 years old. Donnie, did you see the eclipse last night? Yep, and the Milky Way too. We looked through a telescope. I heard your daddy is designing a new program for the flight school. Yep, my daddy is showing them how to build a better airplane because he is smart and I am smart and I can make an airplane with my Legos. But it cannot fly because why? I asked him, fully expecting an intelligent answer. After all, any 2-year-old who can make an airplane out of Legos has to be brilliant. He didn't disappoint me. It hasn't got a motor, he explained. That made me laugh. I decided to check out his knowledge of the kitchen. Did your mom use whole wheat for these cookies? Right on cue, he responded, yep, they are so healthy. Do you want to see my muscles? Mom let me mix up the cookies because I'm strong. Knowledge is something given bit by little bit. It sounds almost like computer age learning. Lots of little bits make a big bite. And away we go to kilobytes and megabytes of information, all stored in little bits. The scripture says it like this: whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breasts. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. Isaiah 28, 9 through 10. Will the real mama please stand up? Just because you happen to be the birth mother of a child does not make you the mama of that child. If you hurriedly get up in the morning and rush your little one off for someone else to dry his tears, feed him lunch, and read him a book, please do not call yourself his mama. That child is being adopted out every day with the added insult of being yanked around from one adopted mama to another. In order to bond properly and grow up emotionally stable, a small child must spend the vast majority of his time with his one true permanent mama, whom God has ordained to daily pour knowledge and love into that little life. Daddies are different from mamas in many ways. They provide security that is so vital to a child's emotional health, but no dad can take the place or fill the need that only the feminine personality can supply. A mother's constant presence, the same comforting, nourishing breasts, the same room, the same blanket, the same sippy cup, and the same toys makes a child feel secure. You cannot jerk a child around from one babysitter to another and expect him to be secure and well-balanced at 4 years old. But you can expect a child raised in that manner to not cherish his mother later when he is 8, 10, 15, or 25 years old, just when she begins to need some cherishing herself. If your child is to later cherish you, you must cherish him every day, every hour of his development. There are no neutral moments in a child's life. Every moment is a time of continuous need and development. For a moment, if we skip forward in the list of commands, oh, sorry, my foot cramped. Hold on, my foot. For a moment, if we skip forward in the list of commands in Titus 2:5, we read that women are to love their children and to be keepers at home. There is a context in which we are to love our children to the max, and God says it is when we are keepers at home. Consider this your fair warning. You cannot improve upon God's design. In life there are a few things that must be done right the first time around. The hall. There is no permanent cure for genital herpes and many other forms of STDs, yet 1 in 5 young teens in the USA has a sexually transmitted disease. Many statistics also tell us that 1 in 4 little girls will be sexually messed with by the time they are 4 years old. 1 in 5 little boys will be victims of homosexual abuse. Our children are in grave danger in today's world, not only from emotional trauma, but also from many of these diseases. How many times will your little toddler wander down the hall while you sit in a room full of friends engrossed in a video before some young trustworthy teenage boy slips silently in behind him or her and maneuvers her into a bathroom for a 4-minute session? When the 4 minutes are up, your little child will emerge forever broken and diseased. You cannot pray and expect God for supernatural intervention and protection. God has already provided for her through you. You can and must pray and ask God to make you more attentive and sober parent, that you might better protect your children. You are your baby's keeper. Please keep them well. The book To Train Up a Child by Michael and Debbie Pearl is a must-read for every mama who loves her kids and wants them to be happy, obedient, hardworking, and smart. Reflecting on to love their children. The woman who invests herself in a child's life will be the one whom the child loves and the one with whom he will bond when he is older. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children walk in truth. 3 John 1:4. Make a new habit. Look into your child's eyes and smile many times each Look into your child's eyes and smile many times each day. Take a 5-minute break every 30 minutes or so just to play with him or her. Never work alone. Always have your little buddy helping you. God has given your children guardian angels who watch them from heaven. You are their guardian angel here on earth. Traits of a good helpmeet. A good helpmeet soberly considers the needs of her children before her own interests. She invests time in training them to know and do many things. She schools herself in diet and medicine to be better equipped to keep them safe. Getting serious with God. God directs us to train our children and, when necessary, to direct their path with correction. As women, we might feel we love our children too much to spank them. Our sentiment is silly and unloving. You cannot expect God's personal blessings on your life and on theirs unless you do it God's way. Study these verses and ask God to give you a heart of love and a backbone of courage to walk by his principles. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes. Proverbs 13:24. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. Proverbs 22:15. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. Proverbs 29:15. All right. To love their children. That was a good one. I really enjoyed that one. So it says to love your children, you have to treat their daddy well. That's a good idea. I remember when I was little, several times, like when I was younger, I didn't notice if my parents were angry at each other ever. Like never. I never noticed. When I was a teenager, I saw it more, but it was more like they would have a disagreement in a joking manner because my dad never took life seriously. He never took life seriously. Like he would joke around about everything. He'd pick on my mom just to make her, agitated, and then he'd run away from her. And they would chase each other around the house. I remember that when I was a teenager. One thing I really appreciated was the fact that my mom never spoke ill of my dad. At least not at first. When I was a young adult, I was about to leave with my first fiance, and I started hearing my mom tell stories about my dad. And it really shook me up because that wasn't the person I knew as my dad, right? And at the time, I didn't know about biblical womanhood and how it's dishonoring to speak about your husband in such a manner. But I still felt it was wrong. She shouldn't be doing it, So when I moved out with my first fiance, I ended up having to come back because my fiance did not do finances well. And I was a very bad girlfriend to him and fiance. So I'm glad that relationship ended the way it did because I was not ready and I was not good enough for anyone at that time. When I met Johnny, however, I started having a little more I was thinking about things more like life and circumstances and things. Around that time, my mom was quite bitter. So you can imagine she was saying horrible things about everyone all the time. And so when I moved out with Johnny, away from her, and I had my first child, Logan, things just were so bad around that time for the first until 2020, basically till 2020. When I came to Christ, everything changed because when I came to Christ, I was immediately told about the transformed wife, and I got the book right away, like literally right away. I think it was March or April I got it. And I was converted to Christianity February 2020. So, anyway, I started practicing. And at first it was very hard because, women, we like to gossip. We love to talk. And we love to bash our husbands. We just love it, okay? It's just the way women are, right? I had to learn that that's not right, that it's not normal, that that's even really, really disgusting. And it took me just a little over a year to realize. I started practicing right away, though. I started practicing in the summer. Now, after the summer, when I started practicing not gossiping, it was very, very hard. And it didn't work out as well as I thought it would. It did when I didn't have anybody to hang out with and talk to, which was nice. I've always been isolated. I never really had any gal friends all my life. It's just very hard for me because women are either intimidated by me or they just don't like me for some reason. I really don't understand it. They're intimidated or they don't like me for whatever reason, Anyway, then I found a friend finally just before I converted to Catholicism. And we became really close best friends. And I ended up gossiping about my husband a couple of times with her. And I felt so bad that after I converted to Catholicism, I confessed it because I was like really sad that I did that. And I started practicing not doing that. So every single time, instead of talking about an example using my husband, I would use an example from a TV show or a movie that I seen. No longer using my husband as an example. And I'd give really good advice. Then I moved up here, as you guys know. And then I had no friends again. For a little while. But then I made some friends. But one of them was a heretic. One of them was a feminist heretic. And I had to put her in her place. Yeah, I had to put her in her place in September. It was a very rough time for me. Very rough time. And she left the parish because of it. She got really upset. She left. Fine, whatever. And I'm pretty sure she's spreading rumors and lies about me, but it doesn't matter. I don't care. Because I'm not going to do that about her, okay? Whatever. Suffice to say, since I started honoring, reverencing, obeying, and submitting fully for the last 2.5 years, I have seen a dramatic change in my own marriage for the better. My husband's happier, less stressed. He seems to be enjoying life more now because I don't nag him, I don't bother him, I don't pick on him, I don't tell him to do this and do that and do everything. I don't do any of those things. I let him do whatever he wants when he gets home. And he can go to bed whenever he wants. And I wake him up on... He can play an instrument if he wants. He can play video games if he wants. He can watch a movie. I don't care. I just let him do whatever he wants. I want him to be happy. And in doing that, and never speaking ill of Daddy to my kids, I never, they don't ever hear me say anything bad about Daddy. In doing that, I am doing the proper thing in raising them right, and I'm loving my children. So, all that to say, how to honor your husband is honoring your marriage and your kids. Respecting your husband is loving your kids and raising them to understand and how to read and do basic math would be great. I'm not a mathematician, so I just taught them what I usually, all the things that I use daily, like for budgeting, monthly for budgeting, yearly for budgeting. I teach them those things, decimals, fractions, things of this nature. They're going to need that anyway for when they're measuring. They need to know fractions when they're measuring. Whether for ingredients or for anything they're measuring, they need to know fractions. So I know a lot about fractions. I teach them fractions. I teach them decimals. I teach them addition, multiplication, division, subtraction. Good. I don't know anything about algebra, so I'm never teaching them algebra. But at least they'll be able to do a spreadsheet. For real. Okay. It's time for me to get undressed for bed. I will be back. All right, evening. Many wives want to go to marriage counseling because they want the counselors to fix their husbands. Whenever I mentored women, the only things they talk about at first are all the things their husbands are doing wrong. They never willingly share what they're doing wrong until I ask. It's so much easier to place the blame for a bad marriage on our spouse instead of doing what we can do to be the wives God calls us to be regardless of our husband's behavior. These wives need to study 1 Peter 3, 1 through 2, and learn to go about winning their husbands without the word, while living in subjection to them with godly behavior. God's ways are the opposite of our ways. His ways are perfect. Have you noticed that today's morning reading and evening reading goes with the chapter we're currently on? And created to be his helpmeet? That's kind of weird, right? Or is it the Holy Spirit? It's the Holy Spirit, y'all. The Holy Spirit is working. All right, now that that's done, I have to go and prepare tomorrow's dry powders before I do cinnamon buns in the morning. So, since I'm making homemade cinnamon buns, it's going to be a lot of fun. So you guys are going to come with me, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing. I'm going to give you the recipe so you guys can do it yourself. Now, I am using Pillsbury pie crust, so it's already pre-made crust, okay? But I'm making the rest by scratch. So the cinnamon filling I'm making by scratch, and the cinnamon icing sugar that I'm putting on top is going to be from scratch. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing, okay? Come along with me. And then I'm going to say goodnight. All right, so I'm going to use these two bowls. This one's going to be the filling, and this one's going to be the icing sugar. Okay? So filling. We also need cinnamon for the icing sugar, so I'll put the cinnamon in here like this real quick to mix up later for the icing sugar. Okay, so I put some brown sugar in here, but it's not going to be enough because we don't have enough brown sugar. So I'm going to have to use white sugar with brown sugar. Remember, this is the filling, so it's okay.
Seeing the other one. Holy, holy, holy Lord, God of hosts, heaven and earth are full of your glory.
Alright, that's good. Perfect. Filling's done. Now I'm going to wrap it up for tomorrow. I'm going to put this somewhere safe for tonight. Now I'm going to do this. too. All right, y'all, now that I'm done, I want to tell you, I put in there roughly 2 teaspoons of cinnamon in both bowls, okay, 2 teaspoons. And then I measured out maybe a cup and a bit of the icing sugar for the icing that I'm going to make for it. And then I put in there maybe 1/3 cup brown sugar. And then I definitely put at least 1 cup of regular white sugar for the filling, okay? So that's the recipe for the filling and the icing sugar the icing that I'm going to be making tomorrow, okay? There it is. So I'll see y'all in the morning at 4:45 a.m. in the morning, because I have to wake up that early just to get this done early enough, because it's going to take a while. I have to roll it, then I got to slice it, and then I got to put it on the cookie sheets, and I got to put them in the oven. Unless I might use the pie, the pie dish. That might work out better for me. I use the pie dish. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the morning. Quite early. I'm going to force myself tomorrow. And then I'm going to go to bed for my nappy nap early so that I can get up early and go to the food bank, because I got to do that tomorrow. No matter what, I'm going to force myself. Tomorrow is a day of forcing myself to do the things that don't want to do, but I got to do. Know what I mean? You know what I mean. Yeah. Okay, I'll see ya tomorrow morning. Good night, sleep tight, see y'all in the morning. Later for now. Good night. God bless.